Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of Proline Daily, the longest-running sports handicapping show in America, coming to you direct from Las Vegas. Jim Feist is here. I'm Dave Cokin. Jim, it just keeps rolling for you. 2-0 last night. The Jazz and Clippers going under in the late game, and that's 90-52 now. 2-0 in the baseball totals last night, including a high roller with the Pirates and Cardinals under. So, everything's pretty good.
It's been rolling pretty well. You know that you're going to have some bumps in the road in life and in sports betting, but we work hard every day. I know you do the same thing. We both study a lot, and it comes out in the results. In the long run, we're going to win money, and that's because we work harder than everybody else does, and we take advantage of it. But 90-52, I'm very proud of that record, and we look to close out these playoffs with more winners. We have something going tonight as well. I have a American League game of the month in baseball going tonight. It's $99 online at jimfeist.com, but you can get it, a special, for $19 by calling 866-546-9467.
That sounds pretty good. Meanwhile, I'm forwarding something here while I'm doing this because John Cranton needs this write-up for the website. It's on the one baseball game I've got tonight, which I think is a good play. And I'm sending that to you right now, John, so you can get it up online. And last night was pretty good for me as I had a game of the week, and that was on the total in the Baltimore-Cincinnati game, and it went over in the third inning. So, that's about you wish they were all that easy, obviously. That was just sit back and relax and had a nice night overall. So happy with that. I've got one game that I really like tonight, and it's going to be online for $25. You can also get it by calling 855-472-2577, and I'm going to sweeten the pot. I'll lower the price to just $19. It'll include 5 days of MLB, NHL, and NBA, all for $19. 855-472-2577, and that'll include that top play that's going tonight in baseball. All right, so let's look at a little NBA and the Hawks and Wizards. Pretty good first game. Competitive throughout. Washington gets the win, 114-107. Atlanta has to... They have to try and get this one. They should be all out this evening because if you go down 0-2, well, it gets pretty tough. You have to win 4 out of 5 after that. That's simple math. So Atlanta knows their backs will be against the wall if they don't win on the road tonight, and that won't be easy to do. They're a decent road team, but Jim, the Wizards have been a very good home team all year long. Not a great road team, but they're tough when they're the host team.
Well, they got a lot out of John Wall the other night, and Beal, two great guards. We're seeing a lot of great guard play in the playoffs right now. Of course, there's some great athletes in the NBA, and that's very enjoyable to watch. Atlanta, they played very physical, and even the Washington team, some of the players said they were they were MMA fighters, and Washington was playing basketball.
Yeah, well, it's the playoffs, so get used to it, guys.
The tempo of the game was higher than expected. 114, 107, 221 total. Tonight's total is 212. But when you look at the only way that I feel Atlanta can stay in the game and win the game, and that, of course, is their goal is to win the game, not just cover the spread. They're going to have to find a way to slow down these guards and slow down this tempo. They can do that a little bit on the offensive side, the way they run their own plays, but they're going to have to play some defense, and they're going to have to cut the ball off and cut off some of the passing lanes because it was wide open offense the other day. And if that continues, they're not going to last very long in this series.
No, I would agree with that. I think that Atlanta's trying to turn it into an alley fight because that's really the only way they're going to win. It's just not going to happen. Otherwise, Washington's just too good for them offensively. So rough play or not, according to the Wizards, if this game is played at the same pace, I don't think Atlanta can beat them.
Yeah, I think you got to get Washington down in the low 100s.
Yeah.
In order for it to be an Atlanta possible victory, and maybe even less than 100. So you might, their goal is to try to slow this tempo down. The total is at 112 or 212. Just a very slight lean that they can slow it down enough to keep it under that total. I'm not really convinced of that, but that's the general direction of where my opinion is in this game.
One other stat to throw in, the Nationals, wrong sport. The Wizards have been really good when they are well rested. They're 20-8 against the spread on 2 days rest. And in fact, they've also gone over regularly when they're on 2 days rest, which indicates that they're able to get their offense going when they've got fresh legs, 36-17. So I agree with what you just said, though. So I'm going to stay out of this game. I don't really want to go into the zigzag here, which would indicate the Hawks. But I do think Washington's going to win. And if I had to play the game, I'd take the Wizards in this matchup. Now, Portland and Golden State, it's interesting because this line's dropping. And the reason for that is Kevin Durant's status, which, as we're making this podcast, is still unknown. He's questionable for the game tonight. So bettors, this is not sharp money, Jim. The ticket count is on the Portland side. And that's no doubt because of the Durant status. And Barnes is also dinged up for Golden State. So that line's dropped from 15 to 13. I'm not going to play Portland here. I think they're outclassed in this series. They hung in the first game, and they did manage to, I think they snuck in under the number, but I'm not convinced that they can play 48 minutes with this team. However, if Durant isn't on the floor, the Warriors, it might be tough for them to cover a number that big. So, it becomes a difficult call. This is the beauty of sports betting is you don't have to bet every game. I mean, obviously, if you like something, then you go ahead and fire on it. But I can tell you, I'm going to stay out of this game tonight.
Well, there's three great zigzags going tonight with Atlanta, Oklahoma City, and Portland. But when you look at the zigzags last night, they all lost.
Yep.
Of course, there was a difference there. The zigzags were on the home teams that had lost the previous game, and they were all favored. And that didn't work out so well for the bettors.
Well, actually, the Clippers could have been a win or a loss depending on when you played it. That's one of those games where nobody should lose the bet. If you lost your bet on Utah and Clippers, either way, then you're doing something wrong.
Well, a lot of people do things wrong when it comes to sports betting because, unlike you and I who don't make those kind of mistakes of betting the wrong numbers, there's a lot of people out there that actually have no time to be shopping. And they have one out. They go to that one out. Whatever the line is, they at that moment when they want to make the bet, that's what they play.
Yeah, I know. But that's, I tell people all the time, if you're serious about winning, if you're just doing this to have fun, I guess it doesn't matter. But if you're trying to make money, you've got to have more than one out, and you don't have to pay for the high roller screens that we have, which are really detailed. But you can still check out the sites where they'll have current lines, and you can get an idea of whether you're getting the right price or not. And don't play games at the wrong price.
It absolutely makes a big difference. Tonight's zigzag, which is basically playing on the team that lost the last game, would all lead to Portland, Oklahoma City, and Atlanta. The difference between tonight and last night was tonight they're all underdogs. So there's maybe a little more validity if you think there's competitiveness. When you look at Oklahoma City and Houston, which we weren't planning on actually talking about, it's quite remarkable that Houston's had this team's number for a while.
Yeah, they have.
And they killed them with the pick and roll the other night. Houston just annihilated this team.
Well, the one guy who I think is the difference maker in this series is Patrick Beverley. He's a great defender, and he owned Russell Westbrook in game one. Westbrook was absolutely terrible. 6 for 23 from the field, 9 turnovers. He almost had a triple-double that you don't want to get. And Beverly also put in 21 points. So he neutralized Westbrook in terms of points scored and completely dominated him on the defensive side. I got to tell you, I know Westbrook's going to come out firing tonight, but I think he's going to run into the same great defense from Beverly. That's the type of guy who becomes really valuable in the playoffs.
Well, he's a shutdown defender. There's no question about it. Oklahoma City's not a bad team, though. They have some weapons. They're going to use some ball screens. They're going to run picks to clear him out and use other players to get open. So it's going to be a chess match between these coaches, because you know that Oklahoma City is going to come to play, as will Atlanta and as will Portland. Yep. The problem is, when we talked about the Golden State without Durant, we've got to remember who this Golden State team is and who they were last year and the previous year. They still have many of those weapons on that team, and they're really overloaded with talent on this club. I mean, they got 3 players when Durant's in the game. You got 3 players out there that you can give the ball to, they get your 40 points. So, and then Draymond Green, I mean, he's a great athlete. This is an extremely talented team, difficult for anybody to match up with because they have so many weapons.
Yep. And the flip side of it is Portland, look, they've been hot. I mean, they've covered 18 of their last 24. Game one, I'd say that was a misleading final score. I mean, the Warriors beat them by 12 in the fourth quarter, I believe, and the final margin was 12. Tie game after 3. And Durant had a huge game. So if I had to bet the game, I think I would take Portland, but the good number's gone on that already. And that's, again, one of the things you just have to discipline yourself with in sports betting. This line opened at 15. The store that opened at 15, the sharpest stores, they're down to 13. I'm actually seeing the Westgate at 12.5 now, Jim. And
I'm seeing Chris at 12.5 also.
Yep. Flip side is
I want to add something in there. We should mention that. I mean, this is an incredible statistic. The 2 guards for Portland are absolutely incredible athletes, and they played so well the other night. That's McCollum, who had 23. He averages 23, and Lillard, 27. They had 75 points in that game.
Yeah,
75 from 2 players, and they still lost the game by, I think it was 12 or 13. That is the problem with matching up with a team like this with Golden State, because I don't expect Lillard and McCollum to get 75 points again, maybe ever.
No, yeah, and they're right. They still lost the game. So, and they still lost it by a dozen. It's tough. I know Lillard, prior to the series, said, "Well, we're going to win this series in 6." I'd like to bet against that. Head to head, by the way, lately, Portland has been covering at Golden State. They've covered 7 of their last 9. So there's some good information for you in basketball. Again, I don't think we gave you any plays today, but, it still looks to be I think there's going to be some competitive matchups tonight. Got a free play that we'll talk about. Now, I will say this. I'm not betting this game because I already have the series selection. We sent this out prior to the series. I took the Ducks. That's a bigger favorite than I normally would play, but I was convinced they'd beat Calgary in this series, and they're up 3-0. So I'd say I look pretty good in that one. Now, one thing I'll note, though, is that you could make a case that the Flames could have won each or even all of these first 3 games. They've had some really bad luck. They've had a fluke goal really in each game. They've been in a situation where they trailed 2-0 in each of the first games and came back in both those games. Then they had the 4-1 lead late in the second period in Game 3. and Brian Elliott let in a bad goal, and that seemed to wake up the Ducks. The problem is Calgary's now basically dead man walking, and also you have to start factoring in their past with this opponent. Everybody's talked about the ridiculous streak. What is it, 28 now, that they've lost consecutively at Anaheim. I don't know if Calgary has any confidence left. I think they might be mentally fried at this point. And as of this morning, I'm sure we'll know in an hour or so, but we don't even know who's going to be in goal for Calgary, because I'm thinking that Glenn Gullinson's got to go to Chad Johnson here, the backup. Brian Elliott has not been good in this series, and it's 3-0. You better try something. I would take the Ducks tonight. It's right around even money. I think they're going to close them out. Again, I'm not going to bet it myself because I've already got Anaheim in the series, so it's kind of a pointless bet at this point. I just want them to win one game, and that's it. I suppose if I wanted to try and make a middle for myself, I'd take Calgary tonight. But I'm not going to do that because I don't think they're going to win. So I'll use the Ducks as the free play for today. And if you want to get free plays every day on a recorded message, we have that for you at 888-294-1970.
Yes, Dave, and you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Jim Feist Sports. You can sign up for 30 days of my baseball plays for $499 for a month. And you can do that at jimfeist.com. Plus, you can get free plays daily by texting GAME, G-A-M-E, to 25827.
And I think that'll do it for this Wednesday edition. We will try it again on Thursday. Thanks for joining Jim Feist and myself, Dave Cokin. We'll see you tomorrow with another edition of Proline Daily live from Las Vegas.
Thank you, Dave.